Hope you're having a great Thursday. Well, let's talk about the next 3 days. We get a dry, seasonally cool day on Friday. We're in the mid-40s after starting out around freezing. Not too bad for your Friday, just kind of an ordinary cool to chilly winter's day and dry. Dry Friday night. Weather impact alert begins for Saturday morning. And generally, we have a winter storm watch from 7 a.m. Saturday through 7 p.m. Sunday night. So throughout the weekend, winter storm conditions are likely. We're going to see all modes of precipitation and precipitation types, including snow, sleet, freezing rain, which means icing, and also rain. Believe it or not, we're going to see this is a very powerful, strong winter storm system that's going to be energized and bringing in a little bit of everything. So we're going to talk about that specific timeline for you coming up in just a moment. But here are the details as far as the weather impact alert. Again, it will be for Saturday morning, through Sunday night. So Friday and Friday night are fine. Saturday morning through Sunday night, wintry weather is likely. The impacts are from a wintry mix of some snow and sleet on the front end, but then a lot of sleet changing over to freezing rain and ice accumulation. The predominant types we'll likely see for the majority of this event in general, as far as the frozen type, is going to be sleet and freezing rain. Freezing rain equals ice. Freezing rain is rain all the way down that freezes on contact. And then that is all going to change to some rain Sunday before going back to snow showers. So I have a chance for some snow on the front end and on the back end later Sunday night into early Monday morning. We'll talk more about that in a moment. What do you need to do? Well, you certainly need to get prepared, as you've likely been doing. The good news, thankfully, it's been well advertised. We've had pretty much most all week to get ready for what's coming. We're still fine-tuning the details, obviously, as we get closer as far as the forecast, but the impacts haven't changed. Hazardous wintry weather is likely, so I'm sure you've been getting ready for that. So what do you need to do if you don't have to travel this weekend? You can make plans to try to not be on the roads. You don't want to be that vehicle right there, swerving car, and of course, got to stay up to date. Check back for updates. We're still continuing to fine-tune the forecast as we would with any winter storm. It's no different. But as you get closer, the details become a little bit more clear. So here's what we're looking at. Speaking of which, here's your weekend timeline. And again, I've hinted at some of that already, but let's talk about each day and each day part. Saturday, first thing in the morning, probably just cloudy and cold with temperatures in the upper 20s. Now, during the day Saturday, later in the morning into early afternoon, will likely start out as a mixture of snow and sleet. So we could see some accumulations from this initially from later Saturday morning into the afternoon. But road conditions could start deteriorating and become hazardous just from that initial band of some snow and sleet. Then that snow and sleet generally is going to change to all sleet before changing to all freezing rain late Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. It's going to be that process. I would not be surprised if we see some decent sleet accumulations. Sleet is a frozen raindrop that bounces off the ground. Sleet has a beat. So that's what we're looking at. And then it changes to freezing rain, which is rain all the way down, then freezes on contact with the ground or the below freezing surface. And that produces the icing. So let's pick it up with Saturday night and into early Sunday morning. Freezing rain and ice are likely. So then we're just going to an icing event. Okay, so no more any snow. That's warm air aloft. That's changed everything from sleet, and then it's going to change it over to all freezing rain likely. And then we'll get enough warmer air later Sunday morning into the afternoon to change everything over to rain. Not only is rain likely for Sunday, rain can be heavy at times. One of our models is so energized, it brings in maybe a little line of a few isolated storms with the rain. That may be a little overdone, but the spirit of what it's showing is a very energetic, strong storm system. And so that's why we've got a lot of things on the table here. All right, so rain is likely Sunday, mid to upper 30s, but then colder air moves in Sunday night, changing the rain back to snow late with that very cold air. Then the issue becomes whatever liquid or whatever's on the ground or on the roads is likely going to refreeze, especially on untreated road surfaces, late Sunday night into Monday morning. Monday morning we're in the teens, Tuesday morning we're in the single digits. So a lot of times you see this. It gets very cold in the wake and behind and after a winter storm moves through. If that will be no different with this system. So we'll have to deal with refreezing several nights and mornings into early next week. Here's our winter weather alerts. Winter storm warning for Kentucky, Citrus, and Cumberland counties on the plateau. This is going to basically go from Saturday morning through Sunday night. We'll still have a winter storm watch in place for East Tennessee, 7 a.m. Saturday through 7 p.m. Sunday. Now, It's already been upgraded to a warning for Kentucky and Middle Tennessee in the Plateau. National Weather Service office at Morristown will, as always happens, this will either get changed, upgraded to either an advisory or a warning, depending upon the severity of conditions expected. A warning has more amounts and potential hazards than an advisory. Advisory is low wind, a warning is more of your higher end alert. So that's a look at what the alerts we have right now. Here's our precipitation types and totals. Let me start with most of East Tennessee, including Knoxville. In the pink, this is where we have the best chance for mixed precipitation. The snow and sleet initially, but then sleet and freezing rain, equating to ice that could be a quarter to a half inch. Some snow accumulations possible, again, on the front end Saturday and on the back end late Sunday night. But rain is also then expected. For snow, 3 to 6 inches possible, mainly closer to the Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia state line. And where you see the green, that's in the southern valley, some icing possible before it changes to rain, but there's going to be some downsloping winds coming off the mountain. So even from the foothills, maybe of Greene County, Cox, Sevier, into Blount, maybe Monroe counties, coming off the mountain, some strong southerly winds perhaps will give us some downsloping and a little bit of warming. So may not see as much wintry weather in the foothills, even going up mountains, compared to the northern half of East Tennessee. So what about the potential ice accumulations? As we saw in that graphic, could be a quarter to a half inch. Now, as far as what does that mean? When you're talking about freezing rain, it only takes a little bit to cause issues. Even a tenth of an inch produces a glaze of ice, and that could create those slick spots on the roads and elevated surfaces. But we could see a quarter to a half inch, hopefully not more, but when we get up to a quarter of an inch, this middle panel, we're talking about, yeah, black ice likely, but more hazardous travel conditions, some minor tree damage, and those isolated power outages develop. You go over a quarter of an inch, you get more of the power outages likely, and closer to a half inch, and some of that tree damage, and do not travel, significant impact. So that's the concern. You can see the graphic does a good job of showing about what a quarter of an inch is accretion. It's on either side of the tree branch, and there's a look at the half inch is thicker, but that could coat power lines and tree limbs and give us the potential power outages. That's why we have a high impact for potential icing, which could be the dominant type we see, especially in the middle part of the storm, later Saturday, especially Saturday night, early Sunday morning. And the travel impacts are high. Now, as far as snow, that's a moderate impact, mainly for northern areas. Again, on the front end and back end, as far as here in the valley otherwise. And cold, not too bad, until we get to late Sunday night and Monday and Tuesday. That's when the very cold air will be sweeping back in our direction. So here's our time with our futurecast. Dry Friday, mixture of clouds and sunshine. Here's Saturday morning, just west of us in west and middle Tennessee, approaching the plateau at 7 a.m. It's basically going to be between 7 a.m. and noon for that snow and sleet to develop. Remember that initial timeline? And then remember we're talking about going from snow and sleet and freezing rain. That's the pink. And that's where we have, this is Saturday, 11 p.m. This is when we're going to start seeing, beforehand actually, late afternoon through Saturday evening. This is when we're seeing that extended period of freezing rain and icing that appears likely. The green is rain, still could have some freezing rain embedded within that, but then we slowly but surely, as we go later Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon, most all day Sunday, it's expected to be rain. And that may help improve travel conditions on the roads, at least temporarily, but for a good part of the day Sunday. That may actually help us with travel conditions. This is as far as this model goes out, but it will soon go out further. I do want to point out, I mentioned snow with the cold air on the back end. You can see that playing out in Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. So again, we'll be showing you likely that in time that we'll likely be going back to snow late Sunday night to early Monday morning, and that's when the much colder air will start to move in. Okay, a couple more details here before we get to the 7-day. There's evidence of that Arctic air starting to come down. Wow, 40 degrees below zero wind chill. That's some cold Arctic air that's going to be plunging south. We're not going to be that cold, of course, but that's the Arctic cold front. It gets us below freezing starting late Friday night, and then we'll get above freezing Sunday. That's with the rain, but then we go back below freezing late Sunday night and won't get above until maybe later Tuesday afternoon. So we've got some stretches of below freezing weather. It finally warms up back to near 40 degrees by next Wednesday. And, oh, by the way, following weekend, another chance for wintry weather. We'll keep you updated. Have a good night.